and happy Thursday.
Welcome to another edition of FSU Weather.
It was a long Thursday.
It did. It really seemed like a long day and a long week for that matter.
Yeah, and there was a lot of strange things going on. I don't know what it was. People were acting very strange today all around campus, and it was just too much for Thursday.
Maybe it's foreshadowing our weather for tomorrow.
Maybe. We do have a little system we're going to be talking about throughout the show, so make sure you stay tuned. But, you know, before the system comes through, we should really take the time and enjoy the beautiful weather we've been having lately.
We have. Today was gorgeous outside. I know I walked into the classroom and I would rather be anywhere but there, but I opened up the blinds, opened up the windows just to get a little bit of fresh air. So if you didn't enjoy that, you know, we got a couple more hours left of that beautiful air, so you should definitely get out there.
Yeah, we do have some fans from the IM fields right now. They're probably playing soccer and enjoying the last few dwindling hours of daylight into the twilight hours, so it's going to be a nice evening. So if you have some exercise or jogging to do, now's the time to do it.
Especially considering what's happening tomorrow. I mean, definitely get those plans, get outside today, because it's going to be not the same tomorrow.
No, different story tomorrow, and you're definitely going to want to stay tuned for that. But for now, we're going to head it out to John with the overview.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're staring right down the barrel, straight into pea soup here across the southeast. Let's take the graphics here. As you head west on I-10 right now, it's getting cloudier and it's getting a lot more wet off towards the west. Southeast Louisiana there is picking up about an inch of rain already in some parts of southwestern Louisiana, and that rain is all heading our way over the next couple of hours. Not going to reach it here rainfall-wise, but there will be plenty of clouds coming on our way during the next couple of hours, and into tomorrow morning is when we'll transition to the moderate to heavy rainfall. We're expecting 2 to 3 inches of rainfall here across the Big Bend region. Washout will be expected for tomorrow afternoon, mainly after sunrise and heading into the sunset hours. But the good news is we are talking about a sunny weekend heading into Saturday afternoon and into Sunday morning. And then as we head through the next couple of days, we're going to look like this. We're going to look like 67 degrees for tomorrow. It's going to be a little bit on the breezy side, winds just about everywhere over 10 miles an hour and upwards of 20 miles per hour. And those rain showers will be sticking around, but we've got some more fun in the suns, ladies.
I don't know if y'all know this, but I do work outside with the sports and everything. So I did have to be at practice earlier today helping the women of the sand volleyball team, and it's always fun to be out there.
It is, and so they had a great practice today, but with that changing weather, is that something that's going to affect sports teams?
It does. Most people don't know this, but weather, especially in an outdoor sport like beach volleyball, plays a big part in what we do. In fact, with this huge temperature swing, it makes my life a little difficult because it affects the balls that we use outside. Yeah, and it can be quite a problem most
Is that
days.
because of the pressure, or why? How does that work?
Temperature greatly affects the pressures of the balls, and according to NCAA regulations, the balls have to be within a certain pressure per square inch inside the ball. If it's too flat, they can't use it. If it's too bulky and too hard, it's too hard for the girls to use. Warmer weather is higher pressure, cooler weather, lower pressure. So
okay, well, I guess today that wasn't a problem, but what about in the next couple of days? How's that going to look?
Next couple of days, it's going to be rough. But right now, look at outside, 73 degrees, mostly cloudy, but not really. It likes to over-exaggerate these things. It's actually partly cloudy, and you can start to feel the 51 dew point. It's a little muggy, and it's only going to grow as the day continues. As we show you, 70s across the region, 73 in Tallahassee, 70 in Quincy, 70 in Wilma, 70 in St. Mark, 70s across the region, and that's what's giving us our nice evening temperatures for the day as we go on. And continuing on, you can see the satellite and radar. There is the fun ending storm that's coming in tonight into tomorrow. So things are going to start changing as we head into overnight, and that's not going to be a very fun experience if you are going to be outside. We'll talk about more of that later. So you can see the clouds starting to roll in tonight, and that's going to continue to thicken and increase, and that is because of this low pressure system way out here in Texas. That's going to be scooting on through into our region as we head through the night tonight. People are being moderate estimates of 9 o'clock, but we're actually expecting the heavier brunt of that system to hit us around 8 to 11 tomorrow. So if you're headed outside tomorrow, make sure you bring that umbrella and you have your rain jacket and maybe your rain boots on, because we may be seeing some flooding. More about that later. As we continue on, tonight's forecast, you can see 55 degrees, 40% chance of rain, mild. Rain begins early tomorrow, so don't get confused with that. And as we go on into tomorrow, you can see 67 degrees, but we do have that 100% chance of rain, heavy rain also, and windy gusts behind that. So make sure you're prepared. If you do have your umbrella, try to use the ones that have the wind resistance on it. Otherwise, your umbrella might just invert, and that just doesn't make anybody's day any better, especially with a day like tomorrow. And just talking about tomorrow, we do have a slight threat of severe weather, and most of that is going to be flooding, locally 3 to 5 inches. And that may not sound like a lot, but we've actually had a very wet winter. So it's not going to take a lot of moisture to really work with the environment, and things could start flooding very quickly around here. So make sure you're prepared for that. And of course, we do have winds expected. Strong winds are available, possibly potential in this storm. And of course, that means we could be seeing some trees blow over. As we remember earlier this semester, it didn't take much wind to blow that tree down over by the Woodward garage. So make sure you're aware of your surroundings and tune in to 4FSU for all your weather needs tomorrow. Of course, you can catch us on Twitter and on Facebook. And looking at the 7-day, you can see that front come in tomorrow with that rain chance. And you can see temperatures start to dip into Saturday. But we warm back up in for the weekend and at least have most of Sunday to enjoy. And of course, the work week is going to be fairly nice, back into the pattern of warm days, but cool and chilly mornings and evenings. So make sure you have your jacket with that. So as we continue with everything, we'll be sending everything off to Matt with the southeast.
Thank you so much, Coral. We're going to zoom out just a little bit in our picture here to take a look at what's going on at the rest of the southeast, because this is where the storm is really starting to originate. That's going to start piling in over our area into tomorrow. So let's look at those current temperatures first real quick here. Miami and Key West, you're the warm spots in Florida at 76 degrees. You're still partly cloudy down there, but majority of the area is sun. So it's a good beach day down there. But as you get on up into Tallahassee, we're actually pretty comfortable right now compared to what we have been over the last few days. We've been more mild than we have, and that's all ahead of this storm system that we're going to get to in just a minute. Let's take a look at those current wind speeds across the southeast as well. Down in Key West, you're at 16 miles per hour. You're also surrounded by water, so it's a little bit higher there. But take a look at New Orleans. New Orleans, you're starting to feel the effects from the rainstorm and the low pressure system, so the winds are a little bit higher still in that area. But now, as we push on out to the satellite and radar, this is just a mess right now, and this mess could start impacting our area over the next day or two. So here's what we got going on. We have a low pressure system stationed just off the coast of Texas right now, really impacting parts of Louisiana and Texas as well. We've got nearly 1.5 to 2 inches of rain possible have fallen, and in Lake Charles we just received a report that a 1/2 inch of rain has fallen as well. Lake Charles is down here in Louisiana. You can see this mass of rain, this rain shield starting to move its way over into portions of the southeast, including our area, and this will start to impact our area into tomorrow. So the rain chances are definitely there, and we're going to check that out right now with our latest computer models here. The computer models are showing this rain situated right over Louisiana right now. That's going to start pushing on into our area into tomorrow and push in those clouds and rainy, just horrible conditions for your Friday forecast, but the weekend will start getting a little bit better. We'll talk about that later on in the show as well. As that rain starts to push on out, it will usher in, it'll be a little cloudy, but the sunshine will return once again later on in the weekend. But here's what we're talking about, severe threat. We have a marginal risk. That means not too much, but the real threat is going to be those rains and high winds in our area. So rainy day, possibility of some high winds. And then into tomorrow, we're going to be looking at the temperatures, well, just pretty much normal with the rain in our area. 55 is our forecast tonight, and then tomorrow, 67 will be rebounding nicely. But with that rain hanging over, it'll be just as cool. So, ladies, what do you have for us?
Thank you, Matt. You know, there's a lot of rain on that map, and I would just like to see some sunshine. Stick around. I don't want to see all this cloudy dreariness. We had a week of that last week, and I don't want to see any more.
Right, and we would like to see one sun, but over in Mongolia, they were actually seeing 3 suns.
3? How is that possible? We only have 1.
Right, we do only have 1 sun, and this is a pretty rare phenomenon called an antheon, and it's basically the sun in the middle is the real sun, and then the 2 on the outside are slightly smaller, and that's because they are reflections. So basically when the sun is really high in the sky and it reflects off the ice crystals, it creates this illusion that there's 2 suns on the outer sides.
That's impressive. We don't really see 3 suns in Florida, so what conditions do they need there to get that to happen here?
Right, well of course we need those ice crystals, so that's the main thing we don't have in Florida.
Yeah. Well, we're going to send things off in the National with Daniel. Any sunshine or three suns out there?
Well, unfortunately for us and all the country, they're pretty much cloud covered just about everywhere. Matt was talking about that mess that was barreling towards us, but believe it or not, there are some spots that have even worse weather headed their way. Well, right now we're going to take a look at our temperatures. We see 73 right now in Tallahassee, which is really nice, but as you've been hearing, it's not going to last too terribly long for us because that rain will be coming and those temperatures will be dropping big time after that. Well, we look over towards the East Coast in D.C., you see 46, Boston 34, a little bit further north in Detroit and Minneapolis, they're in the 20s. Look over at the West Coast, San Francisco, San Diego, all that whole area is seen in the 50s right now. Phoenix 63, and look at Albuquerque, they have snow right now, they're at 35 there. Satellite and radar, you can just see everywhere is just covered with clouds. And we have this system here, this one behind it. We have a little bit of snow showers happening in the northeast. We're going to go ahead and look just at the northeast and see what's going on up there. You see Boston's having those little bit of showers over there. Connecticut and Rhode Island, they're feeling the same thing all through those states. We look over a little bit towards the west into Pennsylvania and Buffalo, Detroit area. They're having some snow showers there. Good for the skiing there, not so much for the people because we know Buffalo's been really just hammered with snow this season. Well, this is another big thing we have going on in the national story is that we have this big snowstorm that's happening in New Mexico and West Texas. This is not typical for them because you see that, you know, it's really far south and they're getting a lot of snow. They actually have a winter storm advisory, and we'll get to that in just a second. Well, up in Seattle, they're seeing their typical winter. They're having some rain come on through, and that's about it that's happening up there. Last look at the whole country, you can see just about the middle. It's about the only spot that has any sunshine at all. You see everywhere else just covered with clouds. Well, watches and warnings, this is what I was talking about earlier. We do have winter storm warnings in New Mexico and into West Texas. We also have advisories a little bit to the east where that storm will be heading over the next few days. As we look towards our area, nothing too much, just there's a little flood warning down there in Louisiana. That's about it. We're not expecting too much for that and headed our way, but we'll keep an eye on that and let you know later on. Well, here's a big thing to look at for our temperatures specifically. We can see that this low pressure is going to come on through and really drop the temperatures. It's just moving on down, like all the blues migrating down in the green, pushing the green out of the way. And as we get into Friday and into Saturday, that it'll all be blue here very soon. Well, for tonight's forecast, we're going to have a low of 55. Again, that's not too bad, but the rain will start tonight, and that's the only bad news there. For San Antonio, Dallas, and they're seeing typical about 45, 44 into the 40s. And lastly, we're going to take a look at Salt Lake City and Denver. They're having also typical lows there with 18 and 20 degrees. But for right now, we're going to give it off to Allie for a look closer to home.
Thanks, Daniel. Yes, we are going to take it just a little bit closer to home and look at our temperatures for today. Looking at these numbers, it's almost hard to believe that these are coming from January. We're seeing highs at 73, and you know, this is supposed to be winter. Comparing this high to our average, it's well above average, as well as our low of 47, which is also way above average. So felt pretty good to me, but nothing near winter conditions that we should be feeling in January. Current conditions, though, 73 degrees here in Tallahassee. Our humidity is at 46%, so it's not too bad right now. But as those clouds start to roll in, that humidity will be creeping up there tomorrow. And these are those clouds I was talking about, just making their way into the area. We did have a nice sunny day today, but as we move into tomorrow, that story will be quite the opposite as that rain starts to roll in as well. Around the region, though, not too bad as of now. 73 here in Tallahassee, 70 in St. Mark's, 68 up there in Bainbridge. So our temperatures right now are feeling pretty moderate before that rain rolls in. We have to enjoy it while we can. Our dew points also not too bad yet. For tonight will be one of the last nights of fairly pleasant dew points. 51 here in Tallahassee, 51 in Panama City, and you can see the dew points drastically less up there in Georgia, up there in the 30s, and that is because the moisture is going to be coming up from the south. So as those dew points change, Florida will be seeing the change first, and then Georgia dew points will also begin to rise after those. So for our futurecast, like we've been talking about, here is all of that rain coming in. So you can see that through these rain numbers. Tomorrow at 9 a.m., that's when our severe weather is expected to occur between 8 and 11, and then the heavy rain will continue to occur after that. So we can see these rain numbers creep up here in Tallahassee. This is actually on the low end. So while this is only saying 1.5 inches, it could be anywhere from 2 to 3 inches, and in some areas even close to 4. So it is definitely going to be a lot of rain. It is not going to be a day to forget that umbrella. So be prepared tonight. Stick it in your car so you don't forget. Tonight's forecast, 55 in Tallahassee. Mild for now, but that rain is on its way. So if you are going out, please be careful if you're going to be driving back late. And for tomorrow, 67 in Tallahassee, 64 in St. Marks, and 67 down there in Apalachicola. So because of those clouds, because of that rain, we're not going to see the sun to bring our temperatures quite up so high. But it's not too bad except for that rain. That will be the downside of tomorrow. But then when we look 7 days, you will see that rain tomorrow as the front comes in, but then that sunshine will start to creep in next week, and our temperatures will rise back up as we begin our work week with the sun. But for now, we're just going to send it back to the desk.
All right, thank you so much, Allie. With all these storm systems all around the U.S., it can cause quite a bit of a surf around the coast.
That's right. Actually, we're going to take a look at all around the country. We're going to talk about that. Well, for Mavericks and, Half Moon Bay, that area, they're going to have triple to quadruple overhead waves. Can you believe that?
That's crazy. And I know you're the surfer here. I don't know too much about that, and that sounds like quite a bit.
Well, imagine 4 of you stacked on top of each other and then going down that really fast on a board. That's what it's going to be like there. But get this. I looked up Fossil Beach. Can you take a guess on where that is?
Maybe California somewhere?
Alaska.
Oh.
And they're going to have pretty good. They're going to have about head to double overhead waves for them. And the water temperature is going to be 40 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wow.
So if you're going out there, you're going to have like a full hood and wetsuit and booties and the whole deal.
Yeah, I'm just used to just going to the beach on leisure. I couldn't imagine going in 40-degree water.
Yeah, well, a good thing for us, though, we're going to have 6 to 8 feet here, but it will be windy and blown out. But for right now, we're going to send it out to Shane with the look at around Florida.
Thanks, guys. The Sunshine State will definitely not be living up to its name. We had abundant sunshine along the peninsula today with nary cloud in the sky, but the system that's going to be drenching us tomorrow is well on its way into our area. We can see it there off to our west. We've been seeing increasing clouds throughout the day today, and there, those bright colors on the radar, that's all the rainfall that's going to be arriving in our region before we know it. Here's what we're looking at right now across the Sunshine State. From 73 here in the capital, it's already cooling down there in Pensacola, 63 degrees there. And let's look off to the east and south now. Tampa's at 78 degrees, West Palm Beach at 77, Miami's at 76. How about that? They're actually not that much warmer than us for once. Now the dew points here are going to tell the story about where all the moisture is associated with this system. We had a cool front come through earlier this week and dry us off. That's why those regions up to our north and those shades of yellow and brown, they're a lot drier right now, a lot more comfortable, honestly. And the moisture is building throughout the Sunshine State right now. The dew point's at 51 here in Tallahassee. That's not too high yet. But check out these bright shades of green over Louisiana near New Orleans right now. That's just the leading edge of the moisture that's going to be coming into our region soon. Now the winds right now tell an interesting story. They're all easterly, that is, they're coming out from the east because they're being pushed towards the center of the low pressure that's building. That's going to be the leading cause of all this rainfall that's going to be arriving in our region very shortly. So the winds will be blowing out of the east as the system draws near to us and collecting that moisture and pushing it into our region. Here on the water vapor map, we see that moisture very clearly. We've got bright shades of green blowing in swiftly from the west right now. They're all over Louisiana, pushing into Mississippi, and getting close to Pensacola. They will be seeing rain very shortly as this dry air behind it gets on out to sea. Now let's look at exactly where the rainfall is projected to fall over the course of this system. Here we got the bands pulling into our region around 10 o'clock a.m. tomorrow. It's going to be a soaker. So for us here in Tallahassee, we need to be pulling out the umbrellas. Likewise across the whole panhandle. The peninsula will remain dry throughout that time period. And then we project that rain to go out off to sea, pretty much breaking up by Friday evening with stray showers possible. And then throughout Saturday, it'll be clearing on out of the region finally, leaving us peaceful. Now let's talk temperatures for just a moment. We've got 55 degrees tonight in Tallahassee. Similar conditions throughout the Panhandle. Warmer on the peninsula. Only getting down to 70 degrees in West Palm Beach, 69 in Miami. And how high will the temperatures climb tomorrow? Let's find out. We've got a high of 67 in Tallahassee, 75 in Jacksonville. They'll be remaining warm as the rain continues to drench the region, and 81 degrees in Miami. Now to talk about a different kind of weather, the winter weather. In fact, here's John.
It's been a busy day across the country, just not exactly where you would expect that wintry weather to be. It's actually right here in the heartland from West Texas over into New Mexico. Some of these spots have seen over a foot of snow from Lubbock up to Amarillo and over closer to Albuquerque. And I want to jump right into those snowfall totals here. Amarillo, Texas saw 14 inches of snow here this afternoon and this morning as well. Angel Fire, just north of Los Alamos, saw about 13 inches. And down even into southern New Mexico, they saw snow this morning, almost all the way down to the Mexico border. Here's a shot of what Lubbock looked like this morning. It looked like a mess out there. Snow along the medians there, mostly clear across the actual lanes of the highway here. This is I-27 in Lubbock, Texas there. Actually a little bit of freezing rain falling there made it a little bit slick for the highway drive there in Lubbock. Winter storm warning is in effect for most of southeastern New Mexico as well as parts of western Texas and far west Texas. And that's because they are expecting upwards of 3 to 6 inches additional snowfall, even all the way down to the Mexican border. Places like El Paso and Las Cruces seeing some of that snowfall. Winter weather advisory in effect for parts of western Texas as well. That's just for some freezing rain and some snowflakes mixing in there. All the way down near the Texas-Mexico border there in Las Cruces, just on the north side of that border there, seeing some snowfall there as well. This is in I-25 in Las Cruces. No cars on this street today. People being smart there, staying off the road so they aren't slipping and sliding all over the highways there. Look at this satellite and radar here. Lots of snowflakes flying still from El Magardo down to El Paso, still seeing some snowflakes over towards Midland. You saw there around Midland as well, some freezing rain, back turned to snow now. This whole system is going to be moving off towards the north and east. Look at this conveyor belt moving from the Pacific all the way up into the mid-Atlantic now. Mostly rain in eastern Texas into the south and east. This is all going to be heading off towards the east. And this is the severe weather that we'll have to deal with tomorrow. This squall line that's developing east of Corpus Christi, getting into the Houston and Galveston area. Actually some flash flooding there this morning. This is all going to be heading off towards the north and east. As we head off towards the north and east, this system is going to become snow for Huntsville, up towards Tupelo and Nashville tomorrow. And this is going to finally work into the north and east tomorrow. Just a couple of snowflakes there. This is going to change as we head into Friday night into Saturday morning, where everywhere along the Boswash and I-95 is going to see 2 to 4 inches of snow there for tomorrow as the system moves up towards the north and east. This is going to be a big change for most of the eastern parts of the country. Cooler air starting to work in tomorrow. Clouds are going to be left behind after this system, but the severe weather threat is going to be confined to Mobile over towards here in Tallahassee and parts off towards the east, as this whole system moves off towards the east and north and east. But we've got more to talk about here locally with the severe weather threat and all this rain.
That's right, John. We've been talking a lot about this system all day, but as John said, it is going to work its way up the coast, right? What's it going to do from there?
Yeah, as the system pushes through our area, it's not done yet. It's going to be moving on up the east coast and start to impact portions of New York, Pennsylvania, and Virginia.
Now even hear that there's some snow chances once it gets up into those areas. What, 3 to 5 inches of snow if it hits New York City, correct?
Yes, it's a bit of a question mark right now of what exactly will happen, but definitely a rain and snow event up in the northeast.
That's not good for them, but still, it's coming to us first, so
yeah,
let's see about that.
They're certainly used to it right now, and then also another factor of this system will be those gusty winds.
Oh yeah, could it get a higher wind as it moves towards the north, or will it kind of stay about the same?
Well, if it gets into the New York City area, all those buildings are going to act as a wind tunnel, and all the winds going through that will certainly pick it up a bit. But for now, we're going to bring it back here locally with Shane.
Thanks, guys. And it was a very above average sort of day here in Tallahassee. Not just the weather conditions were above average for quality that we all enjoy, the temperatures were up there too. We saw 73 degrees, a full 9 degrees above average for this time of year. So if you thought it felt unseasonably warm today, you were quite correct. In fact, right now the sun is down and the temperature is still above 70 degrees, 71 right now in the capital, under overcast skies right now. with building humidity. Let's see, 51% in the capital right now, and the winds will also be increasing as the storm gets closer to our region. And speaking right of that storm, let's take a look at the satellite and radar. We, again, are only experiencing cloudy conditions right now. The rain is still several hours to our west, but it is really making its presence known here on the radar. We've got bands of green becoming yellow and orange, just indicating the intensity of the rainfall we're going to be experiencing as this gets closer to home. Let's look at the accumulated rainfall we're going to expect to see with this system. That is, the brighter shades in the center of the storm indicate greater amounts of rainfall. And here in Tallahassee, we could be seeing 2 to 3 inches. And that may not sound like a lot, but when it puddles up on roadways, it can make the treacherous commute for everyone. So let's look at where the rain is going to go right over the course of the system. It's going to scoot off to the east very gradually, and we're going to have a lot of rainfall build over Tallahassee, several inches in fact. So with that in mind, is tomorrow going to be a good boating day? Definitely not. Only the most experienced professionals should go out in these conditions. Waves of 6 to 8 feet. This is well above normal for the common calm protected waters we have south of Tallahassee, with those waters becoming rough and winds of up to 25 knots. That makes it very dangerous conditions out there. And if you're inexperienced with a boat, I recommend you stay off the water and inside where everyone ought to be while the downpours begin to barrage our campus later this week. So tonight in Tallahassee, we're going to get down to 55 degrees. We're only calling for a 40% chance of rain. The exact time of arrival is as yet uncertain, but it will be around midnight. So will it rain on Thursday? We'll find out. But tomorrow, the Friday with lots of rainfall is what it's going to be known as, and a high of 67 degrees in Tallahassee. 100% chance of heavy rain and strong winds with significant winds up to 20 miles per hour. But once we get past that, we've got gorgeous sunny skies to look forward to. Check out the 7-day. There's that rain making its mark on Friday with a high of 67 degrees, cooling off after that with a high of only 56 degrees for a rather chilly Saturday. And then 5 days of sunshine with highs climbing back up into the mid-60s by this time next week, lows in the 30s and 40s. Now let's send it back to the desk to wrap up tonight's program.
Thank you so much, Shane. Well, I know it's Thursday, but there's still a lot going on this weekend we can talk about, like the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, the Pro Bowl is coming up on Sunday. I myself may watch a little bit of it. I'm excited to see the last bit of football before the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's always good to see the best players go at it, even if they're not trying their hardest, but they still do some pretty cool plays sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll be out in Arizona, I believe, where also the Super Bowl is being held.
That's right. Big change. It used to be in Hawaii. Unfortunately, for them, they get Arizona. Arizona's not bad, but still Hawaii for it, I think, is a much better setting.
Absolutely. And then the weather around here, well, it's going downhill quite quickly into tomorrow.
That it is. You see all that rain that's coming through tomorrow. We've talked about it all day, and you see those temperatures in the next week in the lower 60s and upper 50s. But good thing is, not a whole lot of rain chance. You see a lot of sun from Sunday onward, which is real nice. Those lows aren't too bad either. I know we saw 20s not too long ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Tomorrow we got that 100% chance of rain, which means 100% chance of me staying inside tomorrow. So I'm really not looking forward to tomorrow's weather.
Absolutely, I'm with you there. Well, make sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Yep, if you want to get the latest updates, just in case severe weather strikes, we got to get up there on Facebook. We're there on Twitter. We're also on Instagram, so send us any pictures you have of the weather.
And for tomorrow, we will be putting out a lot as the weather goes on.
Absolutely. So thank you very much for tuning in tonight. I'm student meteorologist Matthew Reagan.
I'm Dale McFarland. Everyone have a wonderful night and a dry tomorrow.